Well, blimey, things heating up in more ways than one, and certainly in terms of this general election campaign. Recently, you've seen Reform overtake Rishi Sunak's Conservative Party, shows you Reform have the momentum. And I wrote about this, by the way, at Heathen News, my newsletter today. I'll put a link down below if you want to go and read that article. And I think it's really telling now that you're seeing Rishi Sunak, for the first time really, actually launching an attack, mentioning Reform.
So in this election, we must send the Nationalists the strongest message possible that the people of Scotland want to move on from their independence obsession. And voting Reform risks letting the Nationalists off the hook. Don't let your frustration allow the SNP to keep the constitutional debate going. Voting Reform risks letting the SNP slip in through the black door.
Whilst on the other side of things, Nigel Farage hitting back today.
You might have noticed that we're doing rather well. There is a momentum. We are the subject of conversation around the family breakfast table. There's more conversation about Reform, about me, I guess, than there is anything else going on in this campaign. I guess that's partly because Sunak and Starmer are simply so monotone, so dull, so boring, and don't say anything particularly believable.
And you can see why the establishment are so worried. I mean, just look at the latest Redfield and Wilton poll. You see here what we've seen time and time again during the course of this campaign already. The joint highest Reform percentage, the joint lowest Conservative percentage. Both of these parties in the polls going in opposite directions. Labour with a big lead on 42%. Reform, the second party, the challengers to Labour on 19%. The Conservatives in third on 18%. And just look at this, that 18% ties the lowest ever support for the Tories during this Parliament in recent times. At one point lower than under Liz Truss, who was on 19%. And you see here, amongst Conservative voters now, the lowest percentage from the last election ever to say they'll vote Tory again, down to just 35% with their own voters, with Reform attracting the support of 28% of Conservative voters from the last election. And just consider this as well, I found this really interesting. When you break this down by age, you see now Reform attracting more voters than the Tories among young voters, 18 to 24-year-olds, in fact, nearly double the level of support amongst that age group, plus more Reform support compared to the Conservatives among those aged 45 to 54, 55 to 64. So it's a pattern we've seen time and time again during the course of this election campaign. Conservatives are not reversing the poll trends. Let me know if that surprises you or not, guys. I will, of course, keep bringing you all the latest on this and more. So please do whack this video a quick thumbs up. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.